All right, guys. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Stephanie, and Luke's on here, and Sophie's on here, and thank you so much for coming on to your level 2 call for those kind of pushing towards Emerald. Today we have a very special guest who's going to be talking to us and sharing her wisdom with us here on the call, and just kind of really sharing, how do you be you? How do you be you on social media? How do you share, not just the good and everything, but how do you, share the struggles? How do you share reality? And Sophie is someone that, she writes beautifully. She speaks beautifully. People really look up to her on our team in terms of how she post her, how she posts who she is on her social media. So I know I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say. I'm recording this, for the rest of the team as well. And so I want to go ahead and give her, as much time as she needs. So you can go ahead, Sophie.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Okay. So, if you don't know me, like she said, my name is Sophie. Whatever with the intros. I'm Sophie. I love you guys, and I'm excited to share this. So I try my best to keep it very real and very to the point. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is how to not be a product pusher. So, a lot of us, when we come into this business, we really don't know. We know we want to do well as coaches, we know we want to get healthy, and we know we have to share our stories, but we don't know how to do that. And so we kind of revert back to what we think this is, which is selling products. And we end up being these really gross product pushers like every other company that there is that does direct sales. And that is not what we do. That's not what Beachbody does, and that's certainly not what our team does. And so I'm going to talk to you guys tonight about how to make sure you are not a disgusting product pusher, and what the art of storytelling is. So I'm going to try to do a screen share. Hopefully this will work. And my desktop is amazingly chaotic, so hopefully you won't get a headache. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, you guys can see that? Perfect, okay. So the art of storytelling. So there's this massive misconception that coaching is product pushing. And what I want to tell you guys is that what we do is actually so powerful. Like I said, I'm not going to bash any other companies, but we don't sell nail designs. We aren't selling plastic wraps. We are literally shifting people's life stories by shifting and sharing our own stories, okay? So what we do is incredibly powerful. And as a new coach, you may not have tapped into how powerful it really is yet, but I guarantee you, if you do this the right way with the right intentions, you are going to shift people's life stories, and it's gonna be so impactful. But to do that, you have to engage in the art of storytelling. So we have to shift your brain from the thought of okay, so I have to make 5 posts a day about Beachbody and what I'm doing. So here's a picture of my breakfast, and here's my baby playing with Legos, and check, I did my workout. All right, great. Those are my 5 posts. Shift your brain to thinking about it this way. I'm a person with struggles. I have gifts to offer the community around me. I've learned lessons. I'm still learning lessons. I have fears, and I have small little triumphs. They may be small. They may be small, but I still had a triumph today. And so think of each post, instead of just being like checking off the marks of documenting your day. That's boring. No one wants to see that. Instead of thinking of it that way, think of it as each post is an open door for me to drop a piece of those parts of me, a piece of the story of me. You are a story to be told. And so the focus shift is, when you're sharing a picture after your workout, instead of, I just finished my T25 workout, did you sweat today? Trust me, I make those posts because sometimes I don't want to make it so long-winded, and it's good to have a check-in. but we should also just as regularly be offering value. And so instead of that, it becomes a story where you can share about the thoughts that you had after your workout. And so here's an example of what that could look like. You post your same picture of you sweaty after your workout, laying on the floor, whatever, and you can say something like this. Today after my workout, I had a moment of being so overwhelmed with the feeling of being content. For all my life, I knew all too well the feelings of being ashamed of myself, never feeling like I was enough, feeling like I was headed nowhere, never confident, never feeling at home in my skin. I laid on the floor tonight panting after my DVD finished, and everything flashed before me, how I used to be. It's like I had a moment of remembering. It's hard to put into words, but to lay there feeling like I was choosing where my day went, where my energy was spent, instead of my day owning me, feeling my pride in the person I'm finding I really am. I can't tell you how beautiful that moment was. The same picture, you're still checking in because you did your workout, but one post was really basic and the other post was a truly inspirational post. So just think of the power that you have. Could you feel how that was more like me telling a story versus me just documenting what I just did? So again, if you heard what I said, it was kind of mushy. It was kind of like overly emotional. And I don't talk like that 24/7. I'm not like a ooey gooey person all the time. But I recognize that when I'm posting online, I'm not just there to take up space. I'm there to make an influence and an impact. And so I do have an inspirational voice. I have a voice that I put on when it's time for Sophie, the inspirational figure, to come onto the scene and change someone's day. I'm not there to take up space. I am there to change someone's day, even if it's just with me and my sweaty selfie. I'm going to make sure that there's value in it. So even if you're not a mushy person, begin to form a voice that is more vulnerable, because the thing that's going to separate you from all the other people posting is you being vulnerable, because not everyone's brave enough to do that. And I guarantee you, if our team can come together and be set apart by the stories that we tell and the vulnerability that we take to our posts, that will set us apart from not just Beachbody teams, but from companies. I mean, everyone's using Facebook these days, and so that will set us apart. We want people to crave what we have to offer. We want them to come to our page, not just see us on their newsfeed, but to go, I haven't looked at Sophie's page today. I'm gonna go look at her page, because I know that every time I go there, something in me is touched, something in me gets goosebumps. You want them to crave what you have to offer. Do people crave a picture of your food on the plate? No. Do they crave a sweaty selfie? No. Do they crave a Shakeology shaker cup in your hand? No. They crave connection and inspiration. It's like they want to have a needle, an injection of hope put into their systems. And that's what you can do with your posts. So when we share a piece of our story, we give them something to latch onto and personally identify with, something to connect to. When we give them something, when we share about feeling the things I said before, never feeling confident, never feeling at home in your skin, always feeling ashamed of who you are. When you drop those emotional triggers, that's something that the people reading go, I felt that way before. I know what that's like. I connect to that. And they latch onto it. And then they go, I identify with that person. So then when you post later on about your challenge group, they're already open to listening to you, because they've already connected with you. They already say, I trust that person. That person gets me. So you have to give them something, a part of you to connect to before you start trying to make them join your challenge group. So that's how you attract followers. When I say followers, I mean people that are following you on Facebook or Instagram. And those followers become customers, and those customers become coaches. So it all starts with your ability to catch their eye just through your posts. So if you guys remember that post that I made in the team page, where 85 of you beautiful, amazing people, you shared your honest struggles and the things that you think you need to hide, or else people will think less of you. Those things that you think that, if anyone knew this about me, they would not respect me. They would not want me to coach them. Those are actually the things that people will attach to, the things that people will feel connected to you because they have the same fears and struggles and pains. So we need to stop running from our brokenness, because everyone's broken. So it's not your amazing before and after pictures that will make people trust you. It's not you being perfect and never falling off track, and you always having your nutrition together and always having your meal prep and hitting every workout and waking up at 5:30. It's not you being perfect that's going to make them trust you. It's not your professional pictures or your certifications as a trainer. So stop using that as an excuse. I just don't have money to go get pictures. I'm not a personal trainer. No one gives a crap. They don't want a personal trainer. If they wanted that, they would go to a personal trainer. They're looking for a person to latch arms with them and go, I care about your goals as much as you do, and I'm not going to let you give up on them. That's what they care about. It's not your perfect family, so don't think you have to have some image of a perfect family. If you struggle in the area of family, let's find a really tactful way to share that instead of trying to project a perfect family, because people cannot relate to perfect families because there's no such thing. And it's certainly not your rank as a coach that makes people trust you. When I signed on as a coach, I didn't know this, but Stephanie, I wasn't her first coach. She had signed Luke and her mother, so her two family members, right? I was her first coach after them. I had no idea. I literally thought I was signing on with like a 15-star diamond. I didn't know what that was, but I was like, oh yeah, this girl's legit. She knows what she's doing. I had no idea. So it was not her rank that made me trust her. It was her confidence in what she had to offer. It was how much attention she paid to me. It was how deep she was willing to get into my story, that I wasn't just a sale to her, that I was a person with a story that she wanted to help change the story of. So it's none of those things. It's those vulnerable pieces of you that most people won't be brave enough to share. Those are the things that will make someone trust you and connect to you. So how do you share about something that's seemingly negative? You know, those struggles that we all talked about in the group post. How do you talk about those negative things when we're trying to be positive influences? Unfortunately, I see people do this a lot where, you know, they're trying to be open, and so what they do is they'll post about a struggle that they're having, and then that's it. They just leave it. And you end up being like an Eeyore or like a wet blanket. You're like just bleh, like it sucks. It leaves everyone feeling sucky. You feel sucky. And probably you just did yourself some harm for the future positive posts you can make, because people are gonna be like, this chick is back and forth every day. Like, what's her deal? So when we're talking about these difficult, seemingly negative things, here's how you can be a positive inspiration to your followers in the midst of those struggles and still being real about those struggles. First, it's changing your posture and your tone and how you share about it. Realize you are not a victim. You're not a victim, no matter how horrible your story is. So if you're going to talk about, I'll just use myself as an example. You know, my story started off, as far as Beachbody is concerned, started off with my husband leaving me without telling me being pregnant on my own, no money in my bank account, and basically falling flat on my face and my life falling apart before my eyes, and me being incredibly suicidal and almost losing my life. That's where my story started. And when I came into Beachbody, I wasn't really out of that place. I was still incredibly broken, but I never told it that way. No one has ever, like, nothing I've shared would ever make someone go, oh, that was depressing. People always tell me how inspirational it is. Was my story inspirational? No, my story freaking sucked, but it's the way, it's the perspective that I took on it. So even though I didn't feel positive, even though I didn't feel like I was out of the trenches, I found a way to essentially assume positivity over it. Like, I was still in the shithole, but I stepped up over it and went, you know what? Things are really shitty right now, but this is the positivity that I'm just going to speak over it. And that's what inspired people. So even if you're not feeling positive, the way you rise above it and assume the position of an inspiration is, you know, you call out the struggle in the middle of it. You talk about it like it is, be real, but then assume positivity over it, even before you feel it. And that's not being fake. I don't do fake. That's not fake. If you guys have heard the term, you know, call it forth as though it is, or speak it as though it is, speak it into existence, the term or the concept of the secret and manifesting things. I don't care if you're Christian, you're whatever. this term is just universal, or this concept is universal, of speaking things as though they are, speaking it into existence. It's a very basic concept. It's basically like, yeah, things are crappy, but I refuse to continue to cultivate crappiness. And so, you know, if we think, well, I can't be a positive influence until I'm in a positive place. I can't talk about the situation positively until all of the negativity has washed away. If that's how we look at it, then we're basically telling our challengers and our followers, you're not allowed to be in a good, you're not allowed to feel good until you have perfectly made all of your good changes. You're not allowed to, you know, have a positive mindset until your life is fully positive. When really it's those positive shifts, if we make those good changes and those good choices and start speaking positively, whatever, that's what brings you out of the negative place. So we have to, are you guys getting what I'm saying as far as like, yeah, you're going to be in the trenches sometimes, but don't talk about it like that. So when I would talk about my situation with my ex-husband, I would talk about the sadness of it and how deeply I got depressed and how I was suicidal or whatever. I don't talk about it all at once, but whatever nugget I was dropping that day. And then I would step onto the other side of it, step above it, and go, I can't tell you how impactful it has been to surround myself in a community of people who will not let me stay in bed for 10 days straight, or people who, you know, check in with me if I've done my workout, because they know that even though I'm already thin, I need those endorphins so that I don't get suicidal. Whatever the case may be, I'm still in the trenches, but I pull out something positive about it. And then people start sending messages about how inspiring it is. What's inspiring about that? The fact that I didn't just stay down in that dark place, that I'm choosing to see something positive in it. So breadcrumbing. And I left out an R there, bread not coming. So you don't have to share your story in full every day. You don't have to like have just this novel that you share every single day about your story. It's the same term, if you guys have heard us talk about breadcrumbing in your messages, like when somebody starts asking about 21 Day Fix or Shakeology or your coaching or anything, we sometimes say, you know, breadcrumb in your conversations with them. Don't just water hose them and go, the program does this and you get this, and this, and it costs this much, and then I'll coach you in this, and this. And people are like, and you never hear from them again because it was just too much. So we talk about breadcrumbing, and trust, that's a mistake. Oh my gosh, I made that mistake for so long. And so instead we say to breadcrumb, let it be a back and forth conversation, a tango, a dance where they get to engage and there's actually a relationship there where they get to kind of put out how much interest they have in it and you meet them there. So what's this 21 Day Fix thing? It's this awesome program that I used to help me learn about nutrition and got me on track with my workouts. Oh, do you think a beginner could do it? Yeah, absolutely. I was at a beginning stage when I started it. How much does it cost? Well, it costs, you know, so you let the conversation build upon itself. So that idea of breadcrumbing, it's the same thing with your posts. So you don't have to tell your full story in this huge synopsis every single time you make a post. Just pull out something from whenever you're making a post and drop a piece of your story. So share bits with each of your posts, bits of you, and think of it as an ongoing telling of you, not just of your fitness journey. It's not just, you know, your page should not just be an ongoing telling of like the workouts you're doing. It should be the ongoing telling of you as a person, and your fitness and health journey happens to be a part of that. Because remember, it's the other parts of you that are going to make people feel attached to you and listen to the health journey part of you. So I don't know if this will work, but I want to show you a short clip. Let's see. New share. Bear with me for a second. I'm technologically challenged. Okay. Oh, come on. Seriously? Okay, sorry guys, just a second. There we go. Okay. desktop. All right, I'm gonna try to show you this clip. If the sound is weird, Stephanie, just let me know and we can skip the clip. But it's just like a 2-minute short clip to explain. This is he. I don't know, I think he's a Harvard, he's whatever, somebody really way smarter than me, at least all of us except for probably Stephanie is smarter than us. And he's basically telling what is storytelling, how do you tell a story, and what are the important parts of it.
Well, the idea is you're doing it every day. Every time you tell somebody else a joke, every time you tell about your experience somewhere to motivate them to go to a movie, buy a product, you're doing it. You're telling your emotional experience about the product, the benefit to you. That's what you're really doing. So there's a series of components to doing it purposefully. A series of components, navigational stakes, if you will, that allow you to render an experience to your customer client, and don't think of them as customer client, think of them as an audience. So for example, what do? Most people enter the framework trying to motivate somebody else. You've heard that 1,000 times. Well, it's ridiculous. You don't control anybody. What you have to motivate is yourself. You have to get in state like a great athlete. You bring yourself, this is one of the key ingredients to the telling. You bring yourself in state. So you're authentic, so that the people who are receiving the story, hearing the story that you're telling, see you as authentic. Because if they don't, they're not going to hear the first word that comes out of your mouth. The other second part is who are you talking to? You have to be interested in that audience. You have to be interested in them, not interesting. When you try to be interesting, they don't see what's in it for them. If you're interested, they can capture the need of what you want to do through their interests. That's the real key. And then they'll own it. They'll actually metabolize it. They'll be viral advocates for it. They'll pay it forward because it's there. They're surrendering ownership to them. Then you think about the goal. Every story, every story, a purposeful story has a goal. Buy my product, join my club, vote for my candidate, whatever it is, be part of my institution, employees, HR, salespeople, marketing people. And so you have to have that goal. Most people start out telling what they want without telling themselves what they want, and they're not clear what their goal is. If you're not clear what the goal is, what's the sense of wagging your tongue? It's an empty calorie. And then the fourth part, I should say, is it's interactive. The really good telling of stories, the teller is an active listener. He or she is actually engaged with hearing, seeing, feeling empathetically what is coming back like you, nodding your head. That's a very important part. That way you are engaging, and both of you are engaging in a monologue, no, a dialogue, yes. So the idea is to try to have that happen, because then you're not a passenger, you're a participant in it. Again, ownership, proprietorship is engaged that way. And then content comes from everywhere. The Trojan horse everywhere. Movies, books, television shows, your own life experiences, somebody else's life experiences. It doesn't matter where it comes. You're trying to create an emotional component that, when bonded with the information, makes it memorable, resonant, and actionable. So those are.
For that, I just loved how he talked about, authenticity and interaction and, and content. So the part that I want to touch on, I think I can, let's see. Okay. Part that I want to touch on is authenticity. A lot of people fear, I don't want to come off as salesy. I don't want to be pushy. I agree with you. I love I love when my coaches say that, because I know that they're going to go out of their way to make sure that they're not pushy or salesy, because I don't like salesy, talk. So the way I think of it is, I'm never trying to sell my programs. I'm going to sell my programs, but I'm not out every day to sell packages and to sell Shakeology. I am always trying to tell my story, because I know that if I do tell my story, I will sell, period. It's going to happen. So my goal is to tell my story, always, never to sell programs. If you do that, you will come off as authentic, and you will reach that end goal, which is quitting your job or paying your debt or paying for your Shakeology or getting in the best shape of your life, whatever your goal is. If you focus on your story and not sales, you will sell. And then curiosity. I think that the key to people hearing your story is you creating curiosity in them. And how do you do that? it's having a strong beginning to your post. And so when you are writing your post, I just want to leave you with this question to ask yourself that if that first line in your post, or is that first line in your post going to catch someone's heart? Is it going to communicate that you have a story you're about to share in the rest of the post? If that first line does not make someone go, oh, maybe I should read the rest, then even if you have the best post ever, they probably are not going to get it. So try to challenge yourself to play around with different ways. You're not going to get it right the first time. I still flop, every week, probably every day, probably I flop on my posts, but I'm always trying to make sure that in that first sentence, I've piqued their curiosity and I've cued to them, I'm about to share a part of myself, and that makes them want to read it. So I hope this was helpful. I think that, yeah, that's all I have. And let me know if you guys have any questions, but that's all I have.
Awesome. Look at all you guys. Look at all you beautiful faces. So many people. Thank you so much, Sophie, for taking the time. That presentation was awesome. I was like watching the presentation. I was like, this is like a really good presentation. Not that I expected any less, but I was just like, this is really, really nice. So I wanted to open it up to, any questions or any comments or anything that the team wanted to ask, or just even comment on her topic today, or struggles that you guys are having. There's a lot of you on the call right now, so I know you guys are not all, you guys all have struggles and concerns and fears, and that I know. Leanne. Hi, Leanne.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a quick question. And here's a challenge I run into. Like, I don't want to come across salesy, but what's happening is people are like tagging me in their photos, like, yeah, I see you're doing 21-day fix. I bought it. Now I'm going to join you. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, you were supposed to come to me and let me help you. So, like, how do you kind of navigate, again, not coming off salesy, sharing yourself, but letting people know in your posts, like, hey, I want to work with you. I want to help you.
You literally say that. It's really that simple. So what I like to do is to try to find ways to give people incentive to talk to me about it, because that used to happen a lot more to me. It doesn't happen as often anymore because I've started to drop little things like, message me if you want the discount link. Like, that's an incentive. If someone's like, oh, like, they know they can go to an infomercial because they see it every night at 11 o'clock. But I just said I had a discount link and everybody wants a discount link. So I gave them an incentive to ask me about it. And I do think as time goes on, you will have time on your side that people will start to get like, oh, like, she legit does this. So it will get easier. But I think even from the start, if you, like you said, like, I want to do this with you. That's actually how I started, was just, I was doing the challenges, and my first kind of messages out to people in my first posts were like, I'm doing this. This is a complete life shift for me. I have never eaten short of like 3 fast food stops a day. So this is a challenge for me. And I really think I'm going to do better if I have partners to do it with me. Is there anyone who would be interested in being an accountability partner with me? So saying it like that. And again, creating ways of incentive, like we can post in the group and share ideas of different ways to give incentive. But that's the main way that I do it, talking about, or just dropping at the end that I have a discount link if anyone's interested.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think that's really important because consistency in your posting is really important. And so like Sophie was saying, a lot of us maybe have time on, time over, on our kind of side, but it's that, I don't think I've ever missed a day of posting in 2 years. So it's that consistency. And I don't think Sophie's, it's that consistency that we have in sharing our story, sharing where we are, sharing, always inviting, always having a message like that, like, message me if you're interested, or I have a discount link, so that people know, that you're a coach. And I mean, an honest question is to go to your page and look at your page and look at your last 4 or 5 posts, 6 posts. Can someone know that you're a coach? Can someone know that you have a group starting, August 17th or September 7th? Do they know? And if they don't, then you need to make sure that, because let me tell you, if they have the attention span like I do not have a really good, my attention span is like, I look at the first 2, 3, look at Luke. I look at the first 2 to 3, pictures in someone's news feed. And then if they're not capturing me, I'm gone. So like so your friends, that says a lot. If they're not coming to you, it probably just means that they just don't know that they can come to you. And that's all that means. And that means you have not been consistent enough in posting about the fact that you have a challenge group starting. But clearly you're inspiring people. So you're inspiring people, but you need to let them know that you have something to offer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is for if you're running into that, probably the challenge that you need is to get more direct and more brave as far as making it known what you do and what you're doing. We, on the level 3 call last night, actually Courtney, who's on the call right now, she was on last night, and she was saying this week was the first time ever that when someone asked her, what do you do for a job, was the first time that she included Beachbody as one of those things. She had never said it before. And so it's really just like putting on that clothing that's like that, even if you don't feel like it fits yet, put on the jacket of like confidence in this is what you do. You do run groups. It may not be your full-time, and it may not even be your part-time work, but you do this. You help people through challenge groups. And so probably challenge yourself, err more on the side of being a little too bold, because it sounds like if someone has a fear of coming off salesy, it's pretty safe you're never going to come off salesy. So err on the side of being bold and brave, and make it more known. I'm running a challenge group. I'm going to help people through this. I'm not going to let you not show up today. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to check on you. And when you fall on your face and you think you failed, I'm going to be the one in your face going, you didn't fail, honey. We're going to keep going. Let's start again the next meal. Don't wait till tomorrow. Let's start again in the next hour, So be a little more bold, be brave, because those of us who are worried about being salesy, we probably never do come off salesy because we're so paranoid about it.
Tracy?
Yeah, okay. I'm a little new, but not new-ish. I had a question. When you don't want to come off salesy, which is a big thing I don't want to do, I know people who do it for the It Works company, and that drives me crazy. What kind of photos and pictures should I include that don't come off pushy? I try to do nutrition, not just because of the groups and the programs that I do, but because I'm a registered dietitian student. That's kind of my life. But how do I do it where it doesn't become, hey, I'm trying to sell this to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my advice would be the way that they say it is to add value, and that's not a term that we're used to. What that means is give people information that they otherwise wouldn't have. Give them some understanding on something that without you, they probably wouldn't have come across that day. Give someone a moment of inspiration or understanding or clarity or connection that they otherwise wouldn't have had. That's what they mean when they say add value. So for you, you've got all this nutritional knowledge. I would say be dropping that stuff for free with no mention of, of Beachbody or no mention of a challenge group. They call it jab, 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 right hook or whatever. It's basically the idea of like drop value, drop value, drop value, and then give the welcome, give the invite. So you don't have to invite every single time. But I think that if you are just making yourself known as a presence in your circle, making yourself as a presence of value, of like, this person is always giving with no strings attached. She's such a I want to look at her posts because they're helping me for free. If I get that kind of value for free from her, I can only imagine. She just mentioned she has a challenge group. She gave me all that for free. What's she going to give me in her challenge group? Then they're like dying to be a part of your circle. So I think if you stay away from the stock photos, when they say stock photos, that's like, anybody with It Works, they literally just take the pictures off of like Google and they're like, bye. It's like, you can tell it's copy pasted. There's nothing original. There's nothing about them. It's disgusting. I have friends that do it, and it blows my mind because they're such good people, and it's like their brains go out the window when they join this company. So if you're staying away from like just pictures of like the Google pictures of Shanti or the Google pictures of Autumn, stay away from those. Like, put a picture of you down doing a push-up with Shanti's video in the background, or put a picture of you sweating your ass off at the end of the night, whatever it is, but make it about you. Tell a story connected to it that isn't just about selling, but is a part of your experience. Tell a story with a picture of you. That will not come off salesy. There will always be people who are like, this network marketing stuff, who cares? I don't give a crap about those people. They're not the people that I'm trying to attract anyways. So don't worry about the naysayers who will always be determined to doubt you, but the people who don't have chips on their shoulders, they're going to see that you're not It Works. I promise.
I actually had someone mistake me as one just because of progress photos that I had put up. Because he had so many people that had It Works photos that he just was like, so what is the wraps? And I'm like, I don't sell wraps. I sell results. And it worked. He is actually going to buy a P90X program this weekend. And all because I turned around and was like, no wraps. Just push-ups and good eating.
I love it. She said,
and Stephanie said, no, don't do it.
Oh my gosh. I love that you said, I don't sell wraps, I sell results. I'm about to make that as an Instagram post. But no, I love that. And I had the same thing. I had somebody the other day write me and said, okay, Sophie, I'm ready to do, I'm ready to do the Advocare. And I was like, girl, you got the wrong one. I don't put chemicals in people's bodies. I do natural. So, we'll get confused, but that's because the market really is so saturated right now with health and fitness marketing people. But what's going to keep them with you once they realize you're not wraps and you're not Advocare is that relationship that you're willing to form and the value of your story that you're willing to give. Because those other companies, I'm telling you, they don't do that. I don't know what their CEOs are teaching them, because we are grounded. Like, our foundation is about connection and story, and that's what sets us apart. And that's why I know, like, in 15 years we'll still be around, and probably 98% of them won't be, because they're just on the wrong foundations. They're literally about money. And thank God none of you on this call are just about money. We're gonna get money, trust me, we're gonna get some money, but because we actually care about people, and it's gonna last.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the info. I'll definitely be starting that tomorrow then.
Anyone else? Alicia.
Hey, what's up, guys? You guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. I just wanted to go ahead and second Sophie, because what she was saying was freaking amazing. Number one, about the manifestation. Guys, I say this all the time. I believe in it. If you believe in your products, if you believe in your journey, if you believe in what you have been through and where you have been at and where you are now, you can manifest anything, okay? And so everything that we do in life is our thoughts. It really is. And so I believe that if we believe in anything, if you believe that, next year you're going to retire from your job, or, in 5 years from now, you're going to be on a beach somewhere, it's going to happen for you. So believe in yourself, ladies. That's the first thing. And we all have self-worth issues. We all have, self-esteem issues. But I want to tell you, the girls here, Sophie, Stephanie, I don't know if Mandy and them are on this call, but you guys have been awesome. And they make you believe, okay? Number two, I got all this stuff coming up right now. I'm sorry. the products, when we talk about that relationship, I just wanted to also second that. I have done sales. I worked for Luxottica for a long time. I was an apprentice optician for a long time, and I was very high in their sales department. But the reason why I was so high was because I had that connection with those people. And so it's not even about the product. They're not buying the product. They're buying you. They're buying your personality. They're buying, when I go over to Amy Silverman's, because that's my girl. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm always watching her, okay? When I go over to her Facebook, I'm not looking for her product. I'm looking for her life. I'm looking for her vitality. I'm looking for what is that special spark that she has that makes me just want to be part of her tribe. When I go to Sophie and I see her in these mountains and I'm just like, oh my God, girl, like I need to be out there doing some yoga with you, because I mean, what is it? That's what they're grasping for. That's what I actually grasped for when I was looking to be a coach. And I just want to tell you guys that if you're not pushing that, if you're not connecting, if you're just worried about that bottom line, it's not going to happen for you. But if you go out and you're like, listen, you know, I had this sucky day, but I did this, and let's talk about it. If you're out there and you're talking about, you know, she talked about don't be a victim. None of you are victims, okay? Victims die. You are not dead. You are a survivor. Speak about that journey, okay? But know that even though you have had bad past, you have great future, okay? And you're in a great presence. And just bring that all. And I just wanted to second all that to Sophie. I thought everything you were saying, I was just like, man, Sophie's hitting it on the freaking head. She's getting it in right now. I'm so excited. I'm pumped. Is anybody else pumped right now? Okay, sorry. I'm getting off of here now.
Oh, that girl's crazy. I'm telling you, y'all should see my inbox with her. It's like constantly like a motivational speech in my inbox with Alicia. It's awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? Anything that you're like, I don't know how to do this. I'm so overwhelmed.
Any other questions?
Good to go?
Courtney, are you waving or you have a question?
Question.
Oh, question.
Question-ish, yes. Boo, I came in at the end. I'm sorry. I love you. Great. No, you were great. But can you share? You might have shared this, so if you did, I'm sorry. But you shared with me last week something that was really helpful, and I just thought it'd be awesome if you shared that. I told Sophie, I was like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how to do certain things. I feel like I'm working hard, but not smart. And she just shared with me, like, even if you post just a short blurb of your story, like, that is very helpful. So even if you don't have time to do the whole thing, little short blurbs of your story still count. I don't know if you shared that, but that was a nugget of wisdom for me.
Yeah, so I didn't share that. So because probably most people are very busy. Courtney's very busy. And so for Courtney to post consistently is a very overwhelming thought, because if you're trying to share depth and share value all the time and you think that you have to write a novel, that's like, you're probably just not going to post for 3 weeks because you don't have the time to, because you're so busy. What I was telling her is, like, you can still be a positive influence and not have to write a novel. You can share, wait, can you guys hear me? I feel like I just froze. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. You can write a short post, even if it's just like your sweaty selfie. You don't have time to tell a whole blurb about your story, but you can say like what I did today. I didn't have a lot of time because I was prepping the call and stuff. And I think I just said, I feel so amazing after my workout. I don't know why I ever let myself fall off track, because I just came off of a 3-week kind of eating like an idiot. And so I've shared that up with my followers. And so I was just like, I felt so amazing after my workout today. I don't know why I ever let myself fall off track, because this feeling is so priceless. That's all I had time for. But that told a message in and of itself, right? It told that I fell off track, but that it feels so good to be back and I'm feeling great after my workout, not tired, not exhausted, not wishing I hadn't worked out. It portrayed a story, but it was something short. And so I was just telling Courtney, like, even that little bit is better than to not post at all. Because what happens when you don't post at all is you're showing people that you're not consistent and you're really not making yourself a presence in their mind. Like when they think, I want to get healthy and I want to get fit, they're not going to be thinking of you because you weren't there daily. You weren't, like, it's not that they think bad of you. It's just that they don't think of you, because why should they? Like, you don't pop up that often in their view. So even to just post every day a little bit of your value when you do your workout, when you're eating well. Why are you eating salad instead of fries? Why are you drinking a shake instead of eating a donut? Like, just a little bit. That little bit is going to keep you in the forefront of people's minds so that when they're ready, you are the first person they think of. Is that what I kind of told you, Courtney?
Yes, girl. Yes, that was good.
I think so.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Any other thoughts? Any other questions? Good. All right then. Well, thank you so much, Sophie, for coming on and chatting with us. Cool. So I think our next week we'll have another call around this time, and I hope that you guys all have a really good week. Okay. Bye.